Mwah, mwah,
So
mwah.
what? We watch anime.
Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 354 for June 12th, 2022. My name is Nathan Reetin-Spruth. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Rowe McFain.
I'm here.
Andy's crackling now. And we are also joined... we're also joined by Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
It's the Reetin Podcast Show.
That's me. And you, of course, have your host, me. I know how to words. I'm your host, Nathan Reetin-Spruth.
Do you, though?
No, not really. And I have a question. Where can we find you guys?
You could find all of us at aroa.website. And one of those links that I want to bring your attention to is Clinton's Core Classics, a Rise of the Rune Lords first edition actual play podcast. You can get it wherever podcasts are found, and I would just be pleased as punched if you checked it out.
And how far is that podcast along?
We are almost done with book 5. Like we're at the whatever the word is, the end post. You could see the light at the end of the tunnel for the end of book 5, and then we got one more after that.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say there's only six books.
Correct.
Okay. And
it's only getting better and better.
Good. And you of course have me, Nathan Reetin-Spruth. You can find me everywhere at Reetin. So I post these on YouTube every week, so you can listen to my podcast there, youtube.com/Reetin Entertainment. You can also go to @Reetin on Twitter, follow me there, and the one that I am at most of the time is Twitch. So Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time, I'm on Twitch, and you can find me at twitch.tv/Reetin. So yeah, follow me there. What games have you played this week, Connor?
I mean, we did kind of skip Aroa.
Well, no, I think
he chooses randomly every week.
I guess, yeah. No, not about the games you played. About like where we could find you.
Oh,
no, it's Aroa.website. It is your website, but like,
you already said it.
Give
That's
a brother a chance to plug himself.
I also thought he was
plug
fixing
me
his
anytime,
mic.
baby.
Ooh.
I also thought Aroa was fixing his mic. So
the only way I can fix it is just restart my computer. But it doesn't sound like it's doing it anymore.
They came out with a new Focusrite like audio thingy.
Does it have VST support built in?
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
Well, does it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I've never seen anything else that has that. And unless it can do that and or give me 8 different virtual audio devices, I don't care.
What is VST?
VST is an audio plugin. It's what I use for noise canceling, and I can also do other wacky effects that I won't do right now.
Thank you.
But I could, and then you'd get mad at me.
We're gonna talk to Connor about what games he's played, and then I'll look that new Focusrite thing up for you. So, Connor, start talking.
Nice and slow to give Aroa time to fix his problems.
No,
I haven't actually gotten a chance to play that.
He's not rebooting his computer.
I know. I haven't actually had a chance to play that many video games. I've gotten in a whole one round of Space Station 13, in which I managed to defeat a terrorist using a toilet plunger.
A toilet plunger?
Yes, they had a phaser. And I had rubber gloves, which doesn't make you like totally immune to electricity, but it insulates you a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had a plunger on my head, which, it makes a great hat, but it also makes a great weapon in a pinch. So that was fun. I thought that was at least worth mentioning. It's a fun game. You can get away with silly stuff.
Cool.
And I'm also playing Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. And the 3DS is still a great system. I cannot get over how good the system still looks. The 3D effect, especially in the newer version of the system, like the one that's got the second D-pad, kind of like the nubbin.
Yeah.
So good. Can't get over it. I am sequence breaking the game, just because I've never done it like this way before. So I just became Adult Link, and instead of doing the Forest Temple, I did the Fire Temple, which is fun. And that's all I've had time to play. I haven't had a lot of time to play video games. I've done a bunch of painting this week. Did you see what I was posting?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
I've got
you're.
like 25 models done this week. It's a very high number for me.
When are you gonna start selling that?
When people say they'll buy it, I don't know.
Should post it on Etsy. Think you can get
Buy
away with
my
it?
shit.
Please.
People
Well,
sell
I-
copyrighted shit on Etsy all the time.
all the time. Yeah, I've purchased what I'm pretty sure is like someone else's 3D file because have 3D printer will sell.
Absolutely.
Well, my thing is, you have a lot of stuff you've bought as well that you have painted, and can't you? I'm not sure how it works with Warhammer and how they've changed a lot of stuff. But if you take that model and you paint it, like put it together and paint it, and then sell it to somebody, wouldn't that be legal?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it
like,
would be legal anyway.
Well, yeah.
Because
it's,
it's right of second or right of first sale. Is
Yeah.
that it? I don't know.
Yeah.
it's not like a firearm or a automobile where like the value will largely fluctuate, and depending on the quality of the paint, that could certainly affect the price too. But Warhammer, as I understand it, is generally a good, to use a term that Aroa gave me, pump and dump for like liquidation. Because people are always, it's like Magic the Gathering or any other sort of, nerd niche. People are sort of always collecting it, and the value of it very much jumps and stagnates.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha. So, did you do anything else? Not. It seems like you just played those 2 games and did lots of Warhammer stuff. Did you have a minute?
I don't have a Warhammer minute because we were planning on it, and then we'd only have like 3 hours to play, which is like just the minimum for the size of game that we wanted to play. Like we could have done it, but we would have had to have rushed some things, and I was looking to have a fun time, not a fast time.
All right, so we were gonna play, but we didn't have 14 days, and really, you can't have a real Warhammer campaign.
I mean, we're doing like a whole ass war. It takes an hour to set up a full size board. No, it's not an hour. It's like 30 to 45 minutes to set up a whole ass board.
I know.
Then we have to deploy our armies, and there's a lot. I love this game because of its complexity, but damn it, it is complex.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was funny the way that you said it. But that being said, we're gonna move on to Aroa, and
I
Aroa,
finished a book too
what book did you finish?
called Cutting Black. It's
Okay.
a Shadowrun book.
Oh, I see. I
Phew.
see. Uh,
Had me worried for a second.
oh, and we're gonna move on to Aroa. What games did you play this week?
So I've checked out a few things. I played some. You guys remember Satisfactory? Remember that game?
Yes,
I
I
do
did.
not.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been a major update on it, I don't think, since the last time I played it. But I wanted something that was like Factorio, but chill. And I happened to watch some videos from the developers recently. And I was like, you know what? I still own that, don't I? So played that a bit. Still really fun. Very, as I say, very chill. And yeah, it's just cool to like have a conveyor belt that runs across 6 miles and have to manage your power and all that good stuff.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But also Phasmophobia had a not major update, but a sizable one. And I haven't played since the VR revamp.
Oh, right.
So
that
I
was a
checked
while
that
ago.
out. Yeah, I checked that out in VR. And yeah, like it's really finally coming together. It's a far cry from what it was back like whenever it was actually popular. It is like almost a completely different game in terms of how the ghosts work, and definitely VR feels and performs a million times better than it used to. I still don't feel any real desire to go back to it on a regular basis. That'll definitely come up if and when they add more to do when you die, or if they add a PvP mode, which I really, really think would just kind of explode that game again. But I think that also might just stem from my strong desire for more asymmetrical multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Thanks for inviting me to play with you. Yeah.
like we had a full party.
Well, you should just kick one of your family members out of your
You
family.
And it, you know, and the stupid thing is, okay, so small tangent here.
Fucking hate my family.
No. Fucking the developer / developers of Phasmophobia need to fucking stop shitting on the modding community.
Oh,
Stop it.
no.
The fucking developer goes out of their way to prevent people from modding the game. And I get it. I get that they don't want people to cheat. Okay. I think that's a stupid thing because it's like there's no real progression in Phasmophobia. There's nothing. It's just play the same like 6 maps over and over again and that's it. But also like you don't want people to come on and like do a GTA 5 where like you're trying to play the game normally and somebody just starts dropping helicopters out of the sky or whatever. Like you don't want that. And that's fine. But can you at least do what even fucking Halo does and offer a copy of the game that has the anti-cheat turned off and just doesn't connect to official servers, or like it does something where it's peer-to-peer, or like only supports private lobbies, something. Because like before, whenever you could inject random DLLs into the game without it yelling at you, we could have as many people as we wanted in a game. And I even was able to do some fun stuff, like I could control the ghost. It was really fun doing that whenever no one else knew that I had that ability. And so I'd wait for the most opportune time to like start a hunt. And it was really fun. And now you can't do any of that because the developer has their idea of how the game is supposed to work and they don't want anybody else to fuck with that. I'm sorry. Like, I can respect that, but also you're killing community engagement with your game by doing that.
Well, and
I don't think,
for what I understand, because I played it a little bit just with you, and it's single, like, not single player, but like it's a single instance that is locked to you and your friends. It's not like Fortnite where you're thrown in with 100 other people or 80
right,
bots and 20 people.
Yeah, and like it does have public lobbies. Like it has a lobby system, so you could potentially go in. Like if you were cheating, you could go in and fuck with somebody that doesn't want you to be in there. Like, yeah, and I wouldn't want that. That's why I'm saying, why not offer you just need an executable that doesn't have easy anti-cheat.
Mhm.
Like that's all you need. That's literally all that Halo does. And like I haven't looked at the Halo Master Chief Collection modding community, but at least it facilitates it.
Yeah.
There's no way it's very hard. Phasmophobia devs, stop it. Stop doing that.
We're gonna move on because we have a very long podcast today.
I know
we have a lot of stuff. We might not have a long podcast, but we have a lot of shit to talk about. That's what we have to do. So we're gonna move on to me. I'm not even gonna play the thing because I did it last week as a joke. But I have a Warhammer and I beat Space Marine. It's a very short game.
Did you like it?
It was good. It was good. Towards the end, they do ramp up the difficulty quite a bit.
Like crazy? Yeah, I know.
It wasn't like crazy. Like it's just you can't just engage rage mode and just go slaughter everybody, because if you do that, you could still die.
My
Uh,
experience is I got very comfortable with a certain game flow,
yeah,
and then chaos shows up, and it's like, "Oh, that's not gonna work anymore.
yeah,
I
yeah,
need to adjust or, look at my death animation a couple more times."
yeah. But it wasn't too bad difficulty wise. I don't play on hard. I always play on like normal difficulty. But I had fun with it. I read that they're like it's going to be like 9 hours long. It did not take me 9 hours. It took me like 7. And yeah, it's a very short game. Luckily I was able to beat it, so that I think is game number 14 I beaten this year. Something like that. Pretty good. Pretty good. I also played some more Digimon Stories Cyber Sleuth, which is not a hard game. Uh We have a listener slash person in the Discord, which, by the way, you can find the Discord link below. The person in the Discord said that like where they got to, the bosses are ramping up in difficulty, and that they got kind of stuck where they would have to grind to be able to move on. And I am at the same position that they left at, and I have not had that problem because I grind a lot in video games. So in an RPG, I'm sure Connor's the same way,
Mhm.
where you're just like, and I should be level 20 in this area, so let me get to level 50, and
I
now
have
I'm
played
good.
Final Fantasy VI and stayed on a raft for, like, 6 hours, and, that's it. I don't really need to struggle anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't had that problem, especially since now it is weird the way that Digimon works. When you digivolve, you become more powerful, but you start at level 1. So you have to re-level that character up. However, the base stats are higher. So even though you're lower level, you do have lower stats, but once you get to like level 10, you're better than what you were at level 50 or 30. So I have some pretty high level uh highly evolved digivolved Digimon. And I have not ran into a problem that I can't beat with just hitting the thing harder. And then on Friday, I had a friend tell me, "Hey, you should play this demo called Metal Hellsinger." And I was like, "Well, is the demo like 2 or 3 hours long? Because I stream for 3 hours a night, and if I'm gonna play something like that, I want to be able to fill that time with that game." And he's like, I don't know. I didn't play through the whole thing." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, little did I know, he
How?
didn't. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is like 10 minutes long, 20 minutes if you're bad. So yeah, he should have just played the whole thing. And so I just played that same level for 3 hours.
Why?
And because I don't like changing games in the middle of a stream.
Wh- Why not?
I just don't like it. It's
'Cause
just
then he has to update the title of the stream, and,
yeah, I gotta update
that's a lot of
stuff and
work.
yeah. So I played it for 3 hours and I had a goal and I accomplished that goal, and that was beat everybody on my friends list. And I did that. I beat Aroa's score. Aroa had a pretty good score of 5.9 million, and I think I got 7.3 million.
Yeah, you beat me by like 2 million.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
did.
good to know. See, I thought that was your score after one run. So I was like,
No.
damn.
No, that was like a few runs in. Like
Yeah.
it took me
Okay.
a while, and I figured out patterns. And then somebody came into my stream and they're like, "Hey, blah blah blah," and they're talking to me about the game, and I'm like, "Oh, how high was your score?" And he's like, "Yeah, you could probably see it." And I was like, "Oh," and he was the number 1 score, which is like 20 million points. And he explained that it's actually really cheap. So Metal Hellsinger is Doom / a rhythm game. So it's a first person shooter, but you have to time your shots or sword swings to be on rhythm with the music, and there's a thing in the middle that shows you when that beat is happening. And I guess the way to get the high score, like 20 million points, is by using the weakest weapon, which is the skull, and just getting your hit streak as high as possible.
That makes sense.
And that's all that really matters. And so he's like, it's super slow and super boring, and that's how you get the high score. And I was like,
a glowing
I'd also-
endorsement. Super slow and super boring.
well, to do the high score is super slow and boring. If you're just playing the game, it's fun. I will say.
I'd
I had
also
fun.
like to mention that it's literally the same thing as BPM, bullets per minute,
Yeah.
but it's like a structured campaign instead of a roguelite,
Mhm.
and it feels a million times better.
Well, and I will say that, yeah, it was the same level for 3 hours, but I was having fun. Like, I did
It
not have
feels so good.
Yeah. I think I need to calibrate my system a little bit better, because it felt like I was, like, clicking and it wasn't I probably just need to recalibrate.
Did you calibrate it in the first place?
I did, and I'm
Okay.
always terrible at those calibration things. I don't know why.
I didn't do it. I just skipped it.
Oh.
And like I usually whenever I'm playing rhythm games on my PC don't have to, because
Oh,
it's there's usually just no, like, it maybe is a couple of milliseconds, but that's not going to be enough to make a difference. But
yeah, maybe the
I
calibration messed it up. Yeah.
well, I was going to say, even like the game felt weird at first, and I think I
Mhm.
just adapted to the latency. So
Yeah.
you may be right that like that game just has some kind of problem.
Well, and also, and this is just me. They changed the beat a lot with so it's like faster in
Oh
some
yeah,
parts and slower in some parts, which makes sense for a rhythm game. I get it, but
the sword's ultimate move is so fucking satisfying though.
it really is.
Because of that.
Uh,
Because it like it makes it go quad time, and so you're able to just click on every quarter beat, and it feels great.
yeah, and that's another thing that I was having a problem with. I would mess up my rhythm, and then I would start clicking on the offbeat, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Argh." But
That is something BPM lets you do that, and in
good.
fact rewards you for that. And I get that they don't, like, they have their own idea, but
Mhm.
I would kind of almost prefer if, like, at least if you were able to do it consistently or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I would
Like,
probably.
if they would do it that way.
I don't know when the game comes out. Because this was just a demo, and then they have a thing for the store page to actually buy the game when it comes out.
I think it's like August.
I'll probably get it. I'll probably get it. It seems like
I
a
will.
fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they need to make more in this genre. Just with like make jazz Hellsinger. And then all the beats can be fucking weird.
It would actually be really cool to have more games like this that do different genres. Even if it was all in the same game. Like I've said before on here that like I love it whenever rhythm games aren't just rhythm games.
Yeah.
And now that there are two of these, I would really like to see more games try to do this.
Well, they also have Crypt of the it's a different style game, but it's very similar.
Yeah.
Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yeah.
And they had now. This is one that I never got, but I kind of want it. The Switch version of Crypt of the Necrodancer has Legend of Zelda music in it.
Yeah, it's also a lot easier than actual Necrodancer, which was more appealing to me because Necrodancer is really fucking hard.
Yeah, it is.
But it's still like I'd prefer it to be a shooter just because it's easier for my monkey brain to deal with.
That's true. Okay, we're gonna move on. we are going to talk about lots of news stories. First off, Nintendo, yay! They don't pirate their games apparently.
Nintendo don't
Well,
take our stuff.
don't hack stuff. So this is from TechSpot. It says Nintendo scored a legal victory earlier this year against a hacker that played a role in costing the Japanese gaming giant an estimated $65 million in losses. I will tell you that he did not. He did not cost Nintendo $65 million. People who are pirating games, 90% of the time there's a reason for it. It's either A, they're not going to pay for that anyway, or B, they can't pay for it. Like, I don't know, personally speaking, of course this is anecdotal, but I don't really pirate games anymore. And the reason I don't really pirate games anymore is because I have disposable income. But 15 years ago when I was, working fast food or in college, I did not have disposable income, and so the only way to play new games was to pirate them. Or to play any games was to pirate them. And so I don't think that they were cost $65 million.
Well,
Gary,
and the other thing too, you're talking about pirating new games.
yeah,
These aren't even new games.
They're
These are
old games.
games from like the newest games that were probably on this site were on the Wii.
yeah. Well, what they don't have any Switch games on there, or Wii U games? Maybe Wii U. I don't know. I never went to the site.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, this is different. This is different.
This was a different thing. This was Team Executor.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I will say that like it does make more sense to litigate in this
Yeah.
situation
It does.
to some degree. Because they're selling a product that's explicit purpose is to allow you to pirate games. But at the same time, I would argue that this is Nintendo saying that you don't own your own product in a
Yeah.
way, because you should be able to modify your own hardware however you see
should.
fit.
Right.
But also I will shit on Team Executor. They are a group that never would release how they would do things to the rest of the hacking community. And if they had done that, then this wouldn't have been as much of a problem, I don't think.
Yeah. Now it does say so on the story. It says it was Doug Bowser, or I'm sorry, Gary Bowser is the hacker. Doug Bowser is the president of
CEO
Nintendo America.
Yeah.
They're not related, just two guys with the last name of Bowser. So Gary Bowser was ultimately sentenced to 40 months in prison in order to pay millions in fines for his role as a top member of Team Executor. Based on newly released transcripts from Bowser's sentencing, it seems as though Nintendo wanted to make an example of Bowser and send a warning to the piracy community. It says it's the purchase of video games that sustains Nintendo and the Nintendo ecosystem, and it is the games that make people smile. It's for this reason that we do all we can to prevent games on Nintendo systems from being stolen. And then, so going on, I'm not going to read all of this, but I did find the next paragraph to be funny. Nintendo's attorney also touched on the ethics of cheating, which he said the group's hacks enabled. It says parents should not be forced to explain to their children why people cheat and why sometimes games are not fair, just because one person wants an unfair advantage. Isn't that...
Oh, you mean like in capitalism and just the world economy in general?
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty sure that's exactly the parent's job, is to tell them that exact lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Like when I was a kid, we always heard the cheaters never prosper thing. And as I grew up, that's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Cheaters they prosper all the fucking time. And then they don't really get sentenced very much. Like at all. Like look at fucking the pharmaceutical companies. They cheat and make millions of dollars or billions of dollars, and the government's like, hey, don't do it again. You did it again. That's all
Now,
right.
now we have to give you a fine.
Here's a
And then-
$10 million fine. What do you think of that?
Like-
Shucks.
Ah, dang.
Oh,
That's almost
darn.
like 0.1% of my daily income.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Gosh darn it. Guess we're gonna have to lay off 100 people. So anyway, we're gonna move on. We just wanted to say, don't pirate from Nintendo. Apparently,
Pirate Nintendo.
Pirate Nintendo.
Pirate all of Nintendo's games. The Switch, if you can get a first-gen Switch, it is trivial to mod to then pirate games. Also, Switch emulators are really good. Pirate every Nintendo product that you possibly can. Fuck them.
You
That's
wouldn't,
my official stance.
Aroa, you wouldn't download a car.
Fuck yeah, I would.
Yeah, everyone would.
Those ads
Literally
are so
everyone would.
those ads are so stupid. You wouldn't download
I
a car.
guarantee you
Yeah, I
that the day that we have like steel 3D printers that are available in the home, that like car manufacturers are going to try to outlaw them immediately because
yeah.
of that exact reason.
Oh
They
yeah.
might make their own parts. That'll destroy our business model.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Yes.
So we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about WWDC. Oh God, I don't care. iOS 16.
That's
is
okay,
coming
neither
out.
do I.
Okay, and you're the Apple fanboy.
I'm as close to an Apple fanboy as this podcast has.
Yeah. So iOS 16 comes out. Are there any updates to iOS 16 that you are looking forward to?
Okay, so iOS 16, not iPad OS 16, because they're separate operating systems now, even though they're the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
iOS 16, the only major thing that I can think of is that the lock screen is getting its own widgets. You'll have like they're essentially just the complications from Apple Watch. So you'll be able to see like the weather and like your stock ticker and stuff on your lock screen. You know that stuff that Androids had for like 10 years?
Yeah.
They're finally putting that on iOS, which is
good.
That's kind of like every major update to iOS for the last several years. There's also like they're overdoing or overhauling notifications a little bit. There's now going to be like a live notification system so that you can have a notification on your lock screen for your Uber or
That's-
for like a DoorDash order, so that you can just hit the power button on your phone and then your screen lights up and you can see, my Uber Eats order is halfway here or something like that.
So so I do notice it says that you'll be able to swipe between your lock screen pages, and there are features like Photo Shuffle, which will enable you to show a set of photos throughout the day. So you can have like on the PC where you can have your wallpapers rotate.
Yeah, which
Oh,
I
okay.
do on my Apple Watch.
Okay.
It's again, it like they've essentially taken some ideas from Apple Watch and put them on iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of agree with some of the other assumptions from other people that this is probably all building up to the next iPhone having an always-on screen,
That makes sense.
because they've been doing OLED displays for a little while, and I would imagine that the next set of iPhones will just have an always-on OLED screen.
I have
or-
not. I have not changed my wallpaper on my phone in like 7 years.
Yeah, I don't really do that much.
When
I just have I have a folder of like pictures of my pets that I
Oh.
have on my watch, and
That
it
makes
just
sense.
cycles through.
I have, even when I upgrade my phone, I just copy everything over and it brings my wallpaper with it, which I think is amazing that you can just do that. But I have the picture I have on my home screen is a cake that my friend made like 7 years ago. And it looked delicious. And so I set it as my wallpaper and I just never changed it. and she messaged me a few months ago, and she's like, "Hey, do you still have that picture as your home screen?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And she's like, "Can you send it to me?" So I sent it to her, and she's like, "Thanks. I just wanted to know how many layers it was because I'm gonna make it again." So, we've got a new MacBook Air.
Yep. I mean,
Yep.
so who fucking cares about that specifically? Other than it uses MagSafe,
Yeah.
which they never should have stopped using MagSafe. Like it uses the M2 chip.
I wished that I wish that they weren't so expensive. Because I
Yeah,
would probably buy a Mac just to have one.
I
Because it
I
is
will
good
say,
to know how to use both.
now that the M2 MacBook Air is out, you can get an M1 for $1,000, which is
That's
honestly I mean,
still
it's
a
a lot.
grand.
Yeah.
It's still $1,000. But I was gonna say though, if you're in the market for a small laptop,
Yeah.
like you're not gonna get one better than that for that price. And that's not me being a fanboy. It's just that the M1 is such a great SoC
You,
that for the price point, it's pretty fucking fantastic.
you know what I've been using as a laptop pretty well is my
Your
Steam
phone,
Deck. My Steam Deck.
your Steam Deck, yeah.
It
Uh,
I hooked it up. There was a wrestling pay-per-view that I watched last night, and the app doesn't exist on Roku. I think it used to, but they removed it, or it doesn't work anymore, or something. And so I didn't want to watch it on my laptop or cast it from my laptop because casting still doesn't work great, like
yeah.
with Chromecast stuff, especially since it's a Roku. Um, so I hooked up my Steam Deck to my TV and just watched the pay-per-view on there, and it works great. So
So
do that.
do you have does it charge at the same time it's displaying out?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I
You just
got
have like a dock or something?
I stole it.
Ah.
Stole it from Facebook.
Okay.
It's oh man. Oh. I admit so many bad things on this podcast. So we had like these little, I forget what brand they are, but they're like they're USB-C. I think they're USB-C. I don't think they're Thunderbolt. They have USB cable, or I'm sorry, yeah, they have a USB-A port, a USB-C port for charging, and Ethernet port, and HDMI out. And they can only do 4K at 30 frames a second, or you could lower it to like 1080p at 60 frames a second, which is what I did. And you can plug it in,
What you need.
and you plug the USB, you plug your power into the little dongle thing, and it charges it.
Yeah,
And
it's
And this has
just a
been
laptop
great.
dock.
Docking Stations with Nathan Reetensbruth.
but
Yeah,
but
thanks for explaining what a docking station is.
right. So I looked it up because it's tiny. It doesn't look like that much. $150.
Yeah,
So
docking
I-
That's the
stations are
docking station.
stupid.
So I took like 3 of them.
That's,
Yeah,
that's a crime.
I stole a MacBook dock from where I used to work, and it's basically just a piece of plastic with like a little fucking
so
USB
let
extender on it,
I
and
will-
that was like $200.
yeah, I will say this. I did not actually steal it.
Yeah, you
The Facebook, no. Facebook
Yeah, you did.
allows you to check out. They have vending machines. You go up to the vending machine, you swipe your card,
Yeah,
and you press the button.
Yeah, but that
And
was
the
company
expectation is
property.
you return it.
No. They
It probably is.
th-
They
there-
probably expect you to return it whenever you get fired.
No, there is no expectation that any of the stuff you take out of the vending machine is going to be returned. I
Why
asked.
haven't
I
Okay.
asked.
They probably just don't care.
Yeah.
Then you didn't steal it, and this whole thing has just been a sham.
It
I'm
is
Why
very
are you a
disappointed in you,
liar,
Nathan.
Nathan?
this whole
Why
everything.
have you wasted all this time?
This
just to spin a
entire
yarn.
Why
It's-
did you waste all this time?
Remember when you're
I
like,
don't
"Hey,
know.
we got a lot of stories. We should really
Well,
focus," and then you
be-
talked about a fucking cake.
well, because you were you mentioned if you're in the mood for a laptop, and I'm saying a Steam Deck is a great laptop. It's a great portable laptop / video game player. That's what I'm saying.
While we're getting distracted, we also skipped over. There is one other pretty cool thing with iOS that I forgot
that?
about.
What's that?
CarPlay is getting an update.
Okay,
I
Um,
think they addressed that later in the article too.
Maybe, I don't know.
maybe I don't
The
know.
CarPlay has a function now where if your car supports it, which no cars will support it right now, and the cars that do support it in the next couple of years are going to cost way more money than any of us would ever spend on a vehicle.
Oh yeah,
Um, but now your entire dashboard, and that is your speedometer, odometer, all that shit, all of that will show up as part of CarPlay, which I
Oh, nice.
actually think is really cool.
that
I
is
think
Because
it's
I-
gonna be a disaster. I'm
think
looking at the photo of it, and it looks like it has Apple Maps right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Red flag. Red flag.
Well, the cool thing though is that means that Android is going to have the same feature at some point.
yeah.
Because there's no way that car makers are going to have this tech, and then Google's just gonna kind of sit there and not care.
Yeah.
Android's gonna make this and be like, okay, the 40 people with the $250,000 car, they can use this
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what's going to happen.
with their brand new Google Pixel 22 XYZ.
Yeah.
So
Um,
how much? So we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the MacBook Air. It is starting at $1,200.
Yeah.
Ouch.
the M1 MacBook Air is $999 because
Yeah.
that's how pricing works. But you can also get the new MacBook Pro 13-inch, but it also has an M2, so it's like why? And that is, I mean, it's got a notch. I think it
Yeah,
has
it
a
does.
notch.
Got a little
I
bevel.
don't know.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yep. I see a notch.
But it also uses a touch bar still, which I said back whenever the touch bar was added that I think it's a stupid idea.
It really is.
I still think it's a stupid idea. But I think more than that, that it's stupid of people to expect them to remove that feature, because now that it's there and it's being used by people, it would be really shitty of Apple to just be like, all right, we're not doing it anymore. The
Well,
right
not-
thing to do
yeah.
would be expand on the feature and add physical keys on top of an LCD screen or an OLED screen, that then you can have the dynamic keys there, but then also have physical buttons so that you have the best of both worlds.
So you want it to be a Stream Deck.
Yeah.
Well,
it
you
sounds-
say that, but what I really want it to be is the original Razer laptop,
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Razer Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back whenever they first got into that, and they had the whole, like, you had an LCD panel with buttons on top of it. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that seems really simple, but Apple doesn't do anything that I want, so
No.
that's fine.
Well, here's. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we also have they talk about the new Mac OS. There's not much. I mean, it's like the built-in mail app that no one uses is getting some shit. Stage Manager, which is basically the new window management utility that is on iPad OS, which I'll get to.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would ever use this, because you're on a fucking Mac. It already has multi-window management. What are you doing? Like, you see that? You see the screenshot for Stage
Yeah.
Manager?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
It's like.
Oh boy, you have 2 docks now, and even less screen real estate. What a fucking innovation on the MacBook.
Yeah, they have. So what it is, the Stage Manager, is you can like group up windows. Like that might not have anything to do with each other. Like you can like a Microsoft Word is what's coming to mind.
It's virtual
And-
desktops but instead of them being separate desktops, they're just in a bar on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, and you click on that and it'll bring up those windows.
And they'll be in the same places that they were in before. So you have like separate little workspaces off to the left side. Again, you're on a Mac, just hold control and press right, and you have a new desktop.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. It's the same thing. Oh, you don't remember which one, or you want to jump straight to the right one? Then press the fucking mission control key and then click on the one that you wanted. We don't need this. But it seems useful for the iPad because it's a fucking iPad. But for this, it seems like such a non-feature. I don't understand why it's there, other than because Apple wants to eventually just get rid of the MacBook. I 100% think that that's what they're going for.
Yeah, and also, just so you know, the beta is out right now for Ventura.
Yeah,
so you can.
Which I don't have a Mac that's new enough to use it, so I don't care.
Yeah. And then we have Apple Passkeys.
Passkeys are pretty cool, because while Apple is marketing them as being like this crazy cool Apple exclusive thing, they're not at all. They're actually FIDO compliant. So you can port your passkeys to different devices as long as they have this same functionality. So Windows will probably get this.
What does passkeys do?
Passkeys are a replacement for passwords, like just straight up.
Oh, okay. So it's like a YubiKey.
Yeah, it actually is. YubiKeys are FIDO compliant. So the idea is that you go to sign into a site, and you would scan your face or use Touch ID on your iPhone or iPad, or on your MacBook you would use Touch ID, and then you're signed in. You don't have to do anything. And then like on a Windows machine, like right now, if I weren't so lazy and wanted to go through the trouble, I could set up my YubiKey to sign me into websites just by touching the thing. I actually do have my Google account set up that way.
When I worked at Facebook, we used YubiKeys to sign into the VPN. So yeah, that's
pretty cool.
It was pretty nice, but they had extra layer of security. So you also had to have a renewed certificate. So you had to have a certificate, and then you had to use your YubiKey, and the certificate would expire, and that was 90% of my job, was getting people new certificates.
Yeah. So it breaks one of the tenets of security. So that's cool.
Well, the way that we had a very long verification process to verify that they were who they said they were. We would have to get them on a voice call to see on a video call to see their face, and then match their face to their profile picture on their internal account. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass is what that was.
Yep. You've told us about this before.
Yeah. But iOS 16, or I'm sorry, iPad OS 16.
Wait. There was one other thing with Mac OS. Well, a couple of things, actually.
What?
So one is you can now use your iPhone just as a webcam. I mentioned before that
I did see that.
Mac OS allows you to like take a photo, and then it just with your iPhone, and then it pops up on your computer. Now you can just straight up, it's a webcam, which is pretty cool. I don't know how this desk view feature works. Apparently there's a way that you can specifically use your iPhone as a webcam for your desk. I have no clue what that actually means.
I assume you're going to need a cable at the very least to do it. I would be blown away if they nailed this wirelessly.
I bet it could do. I bet it's done wirelessly.
I bet they could do it wirelessly. I'm guessing that we're not there yet, though.
I have like the thing I was talking about, where you take a photo and it goes on there. That's wireless.
I mean, a photo is one thing, but a live open stream of data.
I have an application on my Windows PC right now from Elgato that it connects to an app on my iPhone, and I can use it as a webcam, and it actually works pretty well.
I could see it.
Because as long as you're on like a local Wi-Fi network, like the data stream is pretty good. And with MacBook to iPhone, I imagine it might even just be doing like an ad hoc connection between the two. I don't know for sure.
I could definitely see it working. Maybe not flawlessly, but
I don't know enough about Apple network shenanigans to
I
verify.
could.
Like
Yeah,
the fact that I hear you saying that it works and it works well, I'm very surprised about that.
I could see it.
Yeah, handoff is like one of the few features that like makes me really want to go even further into the Apple ecosystem. That's something that Microsoft and Google, because there's no other, like, because Microsoft won't fucking release their own mobile devices, like they need to get better at that, and they
God,
are.
I wish
but-
the Duo was good. Damn it, Microsoft, make
I
a
know.
good Duo.
I
I've
know.
Yeah.
wanted something like that since I was a teenager.
They okay.
Right.
So tangent. From what I understand, the Duo 2 is decent. Maybe not good,
For like $1,400.
but yeah, it's decent and it's expensive. Was there anything
I
with
also-
Mac? Anything else with Mac OS or passkeys you want to talk about?
Nope. Now we can go to iPad OS. There's now a new API for desktop class apps. I haven't actually looked into this. Usually I would have looked at the developers stuff, but I just haven't bothered yet. But essentially this is another step towards porting macOS applications to iPad, because that is their end game, whether or not they want to admit it. They want iPad and MacBook / Mac to be one unified platform, and this is them moving in that direction. Part of that, I imagine, is virtual memory swap, which they are trying to act like they have somehow created a new technology in this, whenever it's literally exactly what it says on the tin. It's just virtual memory. They've added a swap file to Mac or to iPad OS.
Oh, they added
Which,
a page file. Awesome.
Yeah, a page file in Windows, swap file on everything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just that's it. And there are a lot of people who are really mad that like this functionality like isn't going to some of the older iPads, and it's like, bruh, you know why it's not. It's because they want you to upgrade. Like there are a number of features. Stage Manager is another one that it's not going to be available on, I think, the iPad Air like 3 or iPad Air 2, I can't remember. One of the more recent iPads isn't going to have that feature, even though it has the hardware that should 100% be capable of it.
Yeah.
And I saw a Mac friendly article that was like, well, it's probably because it doesn't have enough RAM. And then like, well, you have memory swapping, so why can't it? And it's like, well, it's because memory swapping is really fucking slow, even with an SSD. Like it's amazing how so many of these Apple fanboy websites don't understand how computers actually work, and also refuse to acknowledge that Apple is a bad company. They're a bad company.
Yeah, they're not good.
They make surprisingly good products sometimes, but for the most part, they're just an evil company.
They charge $400 for fucking plastic wheels.
Yeah, they do. They also they sell the same SoC on like 6 different products and charge different prices for all of them. And like, I don't know. I don't get it.
I mean, to be fair, it's smart. You only have to make one product, and then you can just change the price.
Yeah.
And we already talked about Apple Stage Manager.
Yeah.
Like, and then
that's pretty much it. Like, and note, I didn't even talk about watchOS 9 because there's nothing to fucking talk about. It's like there are a couple of new fitness features that I don't care about. They have officially sunset my Apple Watch, so I won't be getting any more updates. Not surprising, considering they only just fixed the fact that I had to factory reset my watch to update it. So that was cool. Thanks for the send off there. Which
Yeah.
also, mind you, they're still selling. Last I checked, my Apple Watch, even though it's not going to get the newest version of WatchOS.
Of course
And
not.
people are like, "Why aren't they? Why are they still selling it?" I tell you what, because it's a cheap option, and because the new WatchOS 9 doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Like
I have.
it has
I
nothing
was
special.
I was gonna say I have the Galaxy Watch 3, and it's all right, I guess. The Apple Watch is probably better, but I can't use it
Yeah,
because
and
they're
like,
dumb.
and like I don't want to spend $300 on another watch.
Yeah,
So, like, that sucks.
and they don't make the
Uh,
Pebble anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
So
And even Apple didn't talk about tvOS 13 because they don't even care. No one cares.
yeah, nobody does. So, we are going to talk about two more stories. Well, two more events that happened. One was the Summer Game Fest. The other one was
Oh.
the Xbox Game Show.
You didn't want to mention that iOS is also adding Switch controller support.
Oh, no, I removed that from the story list.
Did you?
If you look in podcast discussion, I have the stories we're going to talk about there. Yeah.
Oh, I went to news stories. My bad. It was because podcast discussion was just full of other shit. I didn't scroll up.
Yep. No, I
But I guess
understand. I gotcha.
that would have been part of the same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just
they're adding
new Bluetooth controllers. Who cares?
Yeah, they're adding Joy-Con controllers.
That reminded me though, part of that desktop class API thing. You can now write drivers for iPad. So that's neat.
That's really cool, actually.
Oh, there was one other.
Usually...
There was one other thing that they're not mentioning here. The Metal,
Metal 3.
Their API is getting DSL or DLSS type stuff, like scaling.
It's probably AMD's thing.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot more open. And
FSR.
also they like NVIDIA is kind of dead to Apple for some reason. There hasn't been a new NVIDIA driver for macOS since the 700 series, I want to say. And NVIDIA has come out and said it is because Apple won't let them.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And also part of that new driver API, it's kind of interesting the way that they're doing it, because the drivers run in user space.
Oh.
So they don't have, so like you still have a driver, but it doesn't have like kernel level permissions, which is interesting. That's not how that works on like every other system.
You probably like anytime that you run anything, you'll need to have like local user defined variables for everything. It's gonna be clunky. It's gonna be chunky.
I imagine it's going to be like how drivers work on consoles, or at least how they did on like the 360 and stuff, where like you have to have the driver built into your application. So like if you release a piece of hardware that like doesn't have official support from Apple, then you have to like get software makers on board to include your driver as part of their app package. I bet that's how it's going to work, and it's going to be kind of weird, and it's going to be difficult to work around. But I mean, whatever.
I'm waiting to see if the ability to publish drivers is another license that needs to be applied and renewed every year.
I know on macOS, because they're putting the same, that I think they already did actually put that same functionality in macOS, because drivers used to be kernel extensions, and that's like what they're called in macOS. So you have text files, and to replace those, they have these new like user space drivers, and I am pretty sure you need to sign that driver, and the only way to get a signature for a driver obviously is to have an Apple developer account, which is like $100 a year or something.
Yeah. So we are going to move on because we've been here for an hour.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So we have two more things we're going to talk about, 2 more showcases we're going to talk about. We got Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase. But because there's 26 stories on the Summer Game Fest and 30 on the Xbox one, we're just going to each choose a couple that we're going to talk about and go from there. So we're going to start with Connor on the Summer Game Fest. It looks like you wanted to talk about 3 things. The first one is this little thing. I don't know if you've spoken about it much, but it's a Warhammer.
Yes, I believe I am our resident Warhammer fanboy on this show.
Oh, okay.
I think that goes without saying. And do you know Left 4 Dead 2 or do you know Vermintide?
Yeah, I
It's
do.
that, but it's in the 40K. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, you mean like Back for Blood?
Yeah.
That hit game Back for Blood?
Except
Yeah.
hopefully better. And one thing that this game does that not a lot of other games on this list does is it shows gameplay footage.
Ooh.
Not only that, it shows gameplay footage that looks riveting.
Good. I'm excited. I'm actually pretty excited for this game. Maybe it's because I'm like, hey, Connor will actually play a game with me.
How do I say this? I am in a desperate need for a engaging multiplayer experience. Not necessarily on the level of like It Takes Two, but more tactical, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully this will be able to scratch that itch. I like showing all of the classes. I like that there looks like there's a lot of influence on melee. It's not just shooting, which is something I was a little worried about.
Yeah.
It makes sense that like the Psyker is not using melee abilities, because if you could snap and pop somebody's head, why wouldn't you do that? Which is something they show lots and lots and lots of. And then the Ogryn, which is the big dumb brute, would use a knife and just quite literally cut someone in half with it.
I did
And-
not know that they were going to let you play as a psyker. That's a neat concept for a game like this.
I think it might just be a coincidence, but she looks like she might be like Adeptus Sororitas, which is a sister or something like that. There's still a lot of details we don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like there's going to be a Psyker, an Ogryn who's some sort of melee, bullymonger brute,
Oh, this looks really satisfying.
some sort of Schuster dude who looks he almost looks like a Vindicare assassin, which are like the ranged specialists, but much less deadly. And then there's another just kind of generic, like the dude with the chainsword. The chainsword looks so good in this. They put some time into the modeling in this, and it shows.
Oh, they got the little skull guy from Mechanicus to like be the little hacking tool. That's
a
neat.
cogitator, yeah.
Yeah. So the game looks good. And we've seen them make this game before, pretty much with Vermintide. So hopefully,
Yeah, but it's what I wanted because
Yeah.
it's the Warhammer I'm actually familiar with somewhat.
that's what I was
It's
gonna
the
say.
Warhammer
Hopefully,
that
it's good.
I tried Vermintide. It didn't really do it for me, and I love that world too. It just something about it just wasn't for me. And I think it was the melee maybe. And now just being a better world, being a better experience, having more ranged options certainly is going to help too. I am excited for this in a way that I haven't been excited for a game in a while.
What? Oh, September 13th is when this game comes
And-
out.
And it's going to be on Game Pass.
Oh,
So
yeah.
hopefully I'll be able to play that with my friends.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
I
so
will
I'll
have a
play
lot
it.
more. I'll have a lot more days off now. So-
Nice. Oh, are you fired yet?
No,
Oh.
not that many days off.
Oh, okay. sorry.
Gonna be on unemployment for 3 months.
Yeah. There was another game that you wanted to talk about called Midnight Fight.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to like cycle through or just I can go on that one.
No,
This
we'll
one
just
looks
do one.
interesting because it looks like a more fully redesigned, a fully experienced, like a fully realized. That's what I was looking for. Hotline Miami.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh.
It's sort of
Yeah.
an isometric shooter, and it's fast paced, sort of like one versus many kind of shooter. I don't. There's probably a better way to describe that, but it looks fucking metal. Like I'm not normally a fan of like beat 'em ups. This looks more like beat 'em ups in the same way that like the Assassin's Creed games are beat 'em up, like incredibly brutal beat 'em ups.
The thing about like this game looks more actiony than Hotline Miami. And what I mean
Yeah.
by that is Hotline Miami, I don't really feel that it is really an action game. It is a puzzle game.
it's almost too fast paced to be action. You
Yeah.
blink and you miss it, kind of.
Yeah.
This is more experience. No, that's not what I mean to say. This is more interested in letting you experience the cinematic part of the action,
Yeah.
or so it seems.
So it looks good. I don't know if I would like it just because I'm not a huge fan of isometric games, where you can't move the camera.
I was turned off by that whenever I saw isometric, so I didn't even look at this.
Yeah.
But I'm actually very interested after watching the trailer. And there's a demo, by the way.
Yeah, I think the demo
Oh.
comes out today on Steam.
It is out right now.
Well,
I will
fine.
probably download that at work tomorrow.
I'm downloading it right now.
And the other game you want to talk about was Dead Space version made not by the same people. Callisto Project or Protocol.
Yeah, it's made. I think it's made by the people who made Dead Space and then like went off and did their own studio or something.
Yeah,
I'm not
it is.
positive about that.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
It's
Like it's obviously inspired by like the dude's got like an LED bar on his neck that it definitely resembles, but is legally distinct from Isaac.
it's
Don't
horizontal.
do that, guys. It's no, it's not the same thing.
It's
No.
horizontal. It's not vertical, so it's different. But yeah, it is. It is.
They know what they're doing.
It's Dead Space. They copy and pasted Dead Space.
But
that's
know what else
fine.
I think they copy and pasted, which I wasn't expecting, and I'm almost like totally down for. This game gives me hardcore Manhunt feels. Like you are a prisoner going to Callisto, which is a moon on like Neptune or something like that. And it seems like the beginning of the game is something has gone wrong. You are no longer a prisoner. You are a survivor. Go survive.
Yeah.
And
Oh, like the Suffering.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of what is making all of this brutal is like you're not a space
Yeah,
marine. You're-
Did you get to 208, Aroa?
No, I got to the end where he
Oh.
gets eaten by the fucking wood chipper.
and he gets his
Oh.
face ate.
Yeah.
But
208 is the one where I saw his face get ripped off. That 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Yeah.
It looks exciting in the sense that like you're not a space marine doing space marine stuff. You're just a dude who now needs to survive. And you know, Dead Space had that same feel for it. You're not a soldier. You're an engineer. Now you have a problem that it is, like it or not, your problem to deal with.
And it's going to be on game. I don't know if it's going to be on Game Pass. Probably
I'm pretty
not.
sure maybe, I don't know. I feel like everything's
It
going on Game Pass. now.
doesn't say it is on the trailer,
No.
at least.
This wasn't the Game Pass showcase, which is to say the next one we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the games are on Game Pass that we will talk about, but this one not specifically. So those are the 3 games.
And then I just had a closing remark. I'm very disappointed in this entire showcase. It's
it
almost
wasn't,
entirely cinematic teasers.
it wasn't
No
great.
gameplay footage. Almost, very little gameplay footage.
So you
Shame
have
on you.
Darktide, Warhammer 40K Darktide,
And
Midnight
Fight
Fight,
Express.
and Callisto Protocol are the games that Connor's looking forward to. We've got Neon White for Aroa.
Yeah.
What is Neon White?
So there's like a weird trend right now, and I'm so for it, of first-person speedrun platformer games.
Oh yeah.
And like is it Ghost Runner, I think, was one of the
Ghost
first
Runner
ones
Tokyo. I
No.
think.
No,
Am I thinking
that's a
wrong?
different game.
Oh, okay. I'm
That's a
sorry.
completely different game.
Okay.
No, it's just Ghost Runner. Was one of the first ones that I played, but
don't think
I
Ghost
I
Runner.
want to say this trend probably started with it's like the floor is lava, I think was what it was called. There was also Speedrunners from Hell, were the couple of the older examples, but this one combines normal like first person platforming with mild shooter / like almost puzzle mechanics, where you have a deck of cards that you're going through as you're running through the stage, and you have to use them at the right times to get the optimal path through the stage. And whenever I played the demo, it threw you into some of the later levels, and like it gets really confusing at some points to like know which way is the best way. But it's also cool because most of the time games like this only have one way to go, and it's just a matter of bashing your face into a wall over and over again until you eventually get through it. Almost like Hotline Miami in that way, except this is a platformer instead of a brawler. But yeah, I'm super excited about it because it's really fun, um, and it's stylish as all fucking get out, and yeah, like it also has a guy playing the main character that 100% sounds like Steve Blum but isn't Steve Blum, and I think it's Gianni Matriano, but I'm not sure.
Good.
Yeah,
So you're
and
looking forward to it. Did it show any actual gameplay?
yeah, there's a ton of gameplay in the trailer, and
Good.
I don't know for sure, but I imagine the demo is still available on Steam. It's surprisingly long, the demo, so I would definitely recommend if you like stylish anime looking, but not actually Japanese games. Just look at that.
It's not real
Now,
anime if it's not made in Japan, Aroa.
well, yeah, just like the other game that I wanted to talk about, Zenless Zone Zero, which is actually Chinese, because it's from MiHoYo, which is the Chinese creators of Genshin Impact. Um, this game looks like I'm going to devote way too much time to it. It's
I see 0 actual gameplay. Oh wait, no. No.
there's a
Nope.
little
I-
like taste of it. You can actually see more gameplay in the launch trailer, I think.
Oh.
Or well, not the announcement trailer. Yeah, it's basically a spectacle fighter akin to like God of War or Devil May Cry. Except it's all like Japanese cyberpunk and like urban Japanese fashion themed, which is like everything that I fucking love. Uh it's not like Genshin where like all the girls are decently modest looking.
You don't want
There's
them to be
way more
decently
fans.
modest.
I don't. I want them to be as fan servicey as possible, and they are leaning way more into that with the design of the characters in this. Like there is they cranked up the boob physics by like 3, so it's I'm okay with that, and it helps that the gameplay is way cooler looking. I'm super excited. I know it's going to be free to play, and it's probably going to be exploitative as hell, but you know, for all the hate that I give Chinese developers and China in general, um, at least from what I've played of Genshin, and I play another Chinese free to play mobile game. A lot of the time, they're not anywhere near as exploitative as Western developers are, which is kind of weird.
When do we know when it's going to come out?
It's currently in development. The beta hasn't even released yet. There is a closed beta that you can sign up for. I don't think there's even a rumor on release date. I would be surprised if it came out before next year. Just because
Yeah.
I don't know how large MiHoYo is, but I know they're working on like 3 different games right now. So it'll probably take a bit. But
And there was one other game you wanted to talk about was Saints Row?
yeah, so I forgot Saints Row is coming out in fucking August.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
Is it a remake or
It is
I
a
forget.
reboot. So
reboot.
it's a lot of people were worried whenever the first trailer dropped because it looked like they were almost going back to Saints Row 1 style of very little tongue in cheek, trying to be like GTA sort of thing, and no one wants that.
No.
But over time, they've released more footage of the game and have shown that no, it's still going to be goofy. It's going to be more like Saints Row 2 and 3, not quite to the same level as Saints Row 4.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 is like 1 and 2 were more serious, and then 3 is just like went off the deep end.
Yeah, three went like pretty fucking wacky. 4 just fucking lost its goddamn mind somewhere and just went too far in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
3 is probably like the sweet spot for most people. I did prefer 2 in a lot of ways, but yeah. So the thing I wanted to bring up though is this character creator on the surface looks fantastic, and you can do a lot of really cool shit with it as long as you want your character to look like a man.
Oh no.
So if you even watch this trailer, which I hadn't watched before, uh you'll see it's almost nothing but men. And the reason for that is that this character creator does not make women very well, at least from the neck up. So I'm gonna say this as someone who, like, is not transphobic by any means. Uh, every fucking woman that I tried to make in this character creator looks like she's been on testosterone for the last 6 months.
Interesting. So and that's a problem.
Or on estrogen, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Like
that is a problem with a lot of game developers. I know Ubisoft had a big problem and a big controversy because they like, I think it was one of the Assassin's Creed games. They're like, oh yeah, all the females just like walk like men. Like they have just the same animations, and they're like, listen, we could redo the animations, but that would take like 5 hours, and we can't do that.
Well, so, and that's not even like, that's similar, definitely, because I get that. Like, what, you're Ubisoft, like you couldn't pay a fucking mocap actor a couple $100,000 or whatever, if that, to like go through and capture those and then like animate
Give the
them.
intern something to do for the week. This
Yeah.
is not as hard of a job as y'all are making it out to be.
It would have cost quite a bit of money to do it correctly, and it probably would have added another couple of months to development time.
Months for a motion game? No.
Yeah.
I
To be fair.
So, because you have to deal with, like, if you want to do it right, you have to deal with like animations causing clipping in like the models, especially if you can customize like what outfits characters are wearing. Like, you have to make sure that like bits of the outfits aren't going to clip into each other or cause weird physics flip outs, or else you're going to end up with Assassin's Creed Unity kind of comedy. Like, I get that part, but also it's fucking Ubisoft. You can afford to do that.
Yeah.
This isn't even that bad. Or this isn't even like that level of need for them to do anything, because you have 4 different voices of each gender available. Like, you can be a man or a woman, and there are a ton of animations for each side. Like, and they've done cool stuff, like you can have both huge honkers and also a big old schlong. Like,
So progressive.
yeah, it's cool. Like, you can even unhide the nipples regardless of which gender you are, which I know that sounds really stupid and like superfluous, and it kind of is, but also most games don't let you do that because woman nudity bad. But you could also be a male that just happens to have big old honkers, like
Aroa.
like me. It's pretty cool that they allow all that, but then the fact that even like the pre-made feminine faces don't really look all that feminine. Like, it's just kind of bad. Especially there are a couple of them that are feminine and they look cartoonish. Like, straight up, they look like there's like a cartoon witch face that like has a giant fucking nose and a big pointy chin, and it's like, why? It's just not a good look. And I saw an article recently that was like, look at all these crazy cool characters that you can make in the Saints Row character creator. All but 2 of them were men. And like, I think I only saw maybe 2 or 3 female characters in this trailer here. Like that is a problem. You shouldn't have that much trouble making a feminine looking character. Especially whenever Saints Row 3 and 4 made it so fucking dead simple. I'm not going to complain on the level that some other people have where like, oh, the boobs, you can't like have nice boobs. Oh no. Uh like I'm not going to bitch about that. Uh I do think that the clothing options aren't as good as they should be considering. I also feel like the UI is maybe just borrowed a bit too much from previous Saints Row games and it feels really bad on PC. But
Yeah.
getting rid of all that, just the simple fact that like I want to be a woman and I want to look like a woman and I can't. Like that's frustrating.
That makes sense. We are gonna move on though because
Okay.
time.
I know.
So
I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
You're passionate about my character creators.
I know. Well, trust me, I try to make all my characters look like Hulk Hogan, but I can't do it.
And
Gotta have that
I always
receding
want to be a
hairline.
big titty goth GF. So
So we have two stories I want to talk about are two retro games that are getting sequels or reimaginings or whatever. We've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge is coming June 16th, and it has Casey Jones. Not much to say here. It's just another side-scrolling SNES beat 'em up. But it looks
I
good.
feel like Turtles has been out of the zeitgeist for a while now, you know? It's like obviously it's
Yeah.
a good game. Obviously this is a nostalgia pull, but like
Oh
damn,
yeah.
where did this come from?
It looks good. It looks good. I'm a play it probably, and I think it's going to be on Game Pass.
probably.
I think. Let me see. I think I read the story that it's Shredder's Revenge. Shredder's
It
Revenge
seems
Game
like the kind of
Pass.
game that would be on Game Pass.
Yep. Xbox Game Pass confirms new day one game, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. June 16th. So I'm definitely going to be playing that. If anybody wants to play Shredder's Revenge with
No.
me. Oh. Oh, okay then. Um so that seems fun. I'm going to enjoy it hopefully. And another game that I want to talk about, so I can understand Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade games back in the 90s were amazing. So every couple few years, they're like, we're gonna make another one to milk that money from you guys who remember those arcade games. I get it. I understand. Absolutely nobody, even me, nobody was asking for Flashback 2. Not a single
Yeah.
fucking person.
What the fuck?
so, so Flashback, if you don't, I loved it because I played it on my Sega Genesis, and I'm like, oh my god, these 3 frame a second cutscenes that I'm seeing here are amazing.
Hey, it was fucking cool 30 years ago.
Oh yeah,
Mind
it was
blowing.
amazing. Yeah, it was amazing 30 years ago. And then like the PC version that I saw, like I never played it, but I think my uncle had it, and I saw the cutscenes. I was like, this is awesome. But it's a puzzle game basically, and all the movements are wonky.
Well, it's Prince of Persia.
Yeah, it's Prince of Persia. It's very similar. The original Prince of Persia games, not obviously not Sands of Time or anything. But then now they're coming out with 30 years later. They're coming out with Flashback 2 for some reason.
The
And
quest
Well,
for more money.
they
yeah,
tried to like remake Flashback a little while back, didn't they?
that
Like
was
it
like
was
years ago on the Xbox
yeah,
360.
it was like a 2.5D thing. I want to say they re-released it on PC
Yeah.
within the last like 5 or 6 years, but nobody liked it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and I don't get it. I don't understand. I'll probably play it. But especially if it's on Game Pass, which it probably isn't. But it doesn't show much, if any, gameplay in it. So I don't know how far along they are. I also don't know when it's going to be releasing. I'm looking at the end. Oh, winter 2022. So this winter it's gonna be coming out. But yeah, I don't know
Is it
who was fucking
still
asking for this.
Is it still like a 2D platformer thing, or is it?
There are like snippets of gameplay in the trailer, and it looks like it is still a 2D action adventure game.
It kind of. So I'm on there's a Steam page for it now.
Yeah.
There are a couple of screenshots of it, and it looks like there are going to be some segments that are full 3D, but they're like on rails sort of things. Like it looks like there's a what's the turbo tunnel. It looks like they're gonna have like turbo tunnel segments
Oh, good.
for some reason, and there's like some elements of like you can go downstairs and walk around a room.
Yeah. So I don't understand. I don't understand why they're making this, but I'm sure there are people that will buy this.
Because nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
I think that it's that the dude who like owns or like made Flashback just still really likes Flashback.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
Because
he's just
I think it's just his studio.
he's like, I can do it, and people are like, I guess we'll give you money. Fucking okay.
No.
And also nobody
100%.
bought Subject 13.
No, and there was a it says Flashback already had a sequel, which I do vaguely remember, which was a fully 3D game called Fade to Black, which was 3D and not very good. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the last showcase to talk about. I'm gonna start first. There's a few stories I want to talk about. Not much. All of these games are coming to Game Pass. First off, Starfield, they actually showed off some gameplay footage at the very end of the showcase, and I'm gonna get it. It's on Game Pass. I'm definitely gonna play it. Did either of you watch the gameplay?
I didn't know there was gameplay, so I'm watching it right now, and boy, it sure does look like Fallout in space, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'm gonna like it. I mean, let's be fair. That's all I want. It's all I wanted was Fallout in space, and they're gonna allow you to do it. And at the very end, they also show that you can have space combat.
Oh,
Build your own damn ship.
Yeah, you can build your own ship.
I see there's a scanning mechanic a la No Man's Sky.
Yeah. It looks like
Skyrim, more like it.
That's not going to be really repetitive or anything.
No. But it
Critical
looks good.
feedback loop.
But it looks good. I'll have fun with it. It would be fun. I hope they put in a lot of Easter eggs for old like Bethesda games like Fallout and Skyrim and stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
I hope that it's in the Unreal Engine so it actually works.
I doubt that
not.
because they started making the game before they were acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's funny because
well, it doesn't matter anyway. They're going to make it in the Creation Engine.
Yeah, during the opening spiel, before Todd Howard came on, I think they're like, "We welcomed Bethesda into the Xbox family." I'm like, "Bitch, you gave them $6 billion." That is, if I went up to a Row and I was like, "A Row, I want you to be part of my family," and you're like, "No," I'd be like, "Here's $1 million." You're like, brother Reeton. Like, that's yes, okay. We welcomed them in.
We
with
forcefully welcomed them in.
Yeah, we committed a hostile takeover.
Oh man, what if it's an id Tech?
I mean, that would be cool. That id Tech works great.
It does.
Yeah.
Because this like looks way better than
it does
than like Fallout 76 does, which is the most recent thing that they made. So
yeah, I'm hoping that it is a good game, but I'll play it on day one because it's included with Game Pass. Another thing that's going to be included with Game Pass, which I didn't fucking see coming, was Persona 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
So they have Persona 3, 4, and 5. It's Persona 4 Golden, which is the best version of Persona to play. Persona 4. They have Persona 5 Royal or Royale, whatever. I think it's just Royal. And that one, the best version of Persona 5 to play. And then they have Persona 3 Portable. the PSP game is being ported over to Game Pass. And I don't know why, because I thought FES was the best version to play.
It's not.
But according to one of our listeners / Discord members, Ash, they said that I think 3 has some extra stuff in it or 3 Portable has some extra stuff in it that FES does not.
You can play as a girl,
Oh, okay.
which changes like multiple aspects of the story.
And they probably have, I would imagine if they do the same thing they did with Persona 4 and 5, they probably add another character in with some more storyline.
Um,
I would be surprised if they didn't.
I don't think so. But it includes. I'm pretty sure it includes like everything that FES had.
Yeah.
Besides the there's no like epilogue or anything. It's just the original part of the game. But they also like they improved the battle system. It's pulled with like or it's pulled a bunch of stuff from Persona 4.
Oh yeah.
And there are cameos of characters from Persona 4 in 3 Portable.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I was just a little confused because I was like, why are they bringing the mobile version or the portable version over? But if there's so much more stuff, the only thing I don't like about the portable version, because I played a little bit of the portable version and the FES version, and from what I understand, the travel system in the portable version is different.
It is. Instead of walking around, you just control a cursor on the screen.
Yeah.
You also like you just have like portraits of the characters that pop up on the screen. There aren't the anime cutscenes anymore.
Okay.
They like I don't know.
Vastly improved.
We also don't know if like maybe it's going to be like a best of both worlds situation
where they add back in the cutscenes because it's the PC version.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something cool like that. I don't really know. And also apparently the main change from the combat is you can direct control every character.
Oh, and you
which I
do
did.
That?
Yeah, originally you just have to rely on the AI of each character, and you could give them priorities, which I use that anyway because I fucking hate directly controlling an entire party.
See, and I like micromanaging my characters.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I didn't see that coming. I thought that was really awesome. Another thing that I didn't see coming, another group of games that I'm not going to list them all because I don't have the list in front of me and I could pull it up in 2 seconds, but I'm not going to. Riot Games, all of them.
Yeah, that's
are going to be on
weird.
Game Pass. Where like if you're a member of Game Pass and you download League of Legends, you have access to all the characters. So you don't have to, yeah. They mentioned that. So you'll have access to all of the what is it? What are the champions? Yeah. You'll have access to all the champions.
I wonder how profitable that aspect of League has been lately. Like, I wonder if all the people who are playing it are like, I got the characters I need already.
I mean, I could see that. So
the well's gotta run empty eventually. Like, it's gotta.
Yeah, it says, for anyone who's played a game like Valorant or League of Legends, you can probably imagine how massive an unlock this is. While characters can take a while to gradually unlock or cost actual cash to get them ASAP, this makes it very easy for newcomers to hop right in and play whoever they want without having to grind. So Valorant will also allow you to have all the characters, which I didn't know. I've never played Valorant, so I
didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. But that is cool. I mean, if you're into
I guess that's probably how it is in Teamfight Tactics too.
Yeah. So that's really neat. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that Kojima's still alive. So
yay!
Talk about making games. What kind of games? Fuck if I know, but
yeah.
I'm just looking forward to getting a Steam Deck so that I can start playing Death Stranding again.
Yeah, they went and they're like, listen, there's this guy. He's inspired me. I admire him. We're gonna cut to him, and he's gonna talk about the game. And then Kojima's like, yo. And they're like, and we're moving on. Like, Kojima didn't say shit. He was just like, I'm making a game, maybe.
Well,
I got nothing.
so the fact that he's making a game in collaboration with Xbox, though, is pretty significant.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of rumors that Sony was going to buy Kojima Productions.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case if that's going on.
I mean, is Kojima Production still? I don't know enough to know like how the Konami split affected with him with his like owned intellectual properties.
He made a new company called Kojima Productions,
and that's what Death Stranding's under, right?
Correct.
So,
Now it uses Guerrilla Games' engine, which Guerrilla Games is, I believe, part of Sony.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of why I think a lot of people were assuming that, because it's not certain, but it's almost certain that like Sony probably gave Kojima a lot of money to like make his studio and all that.
Snatcher 2.
Yeah, like, but also there hasn't been a Kojima game on Xbox, I don't think, since
Phantom Pain?
Was it? Well, yeah, I forgot Phantom Pain came out on there.
Yeah.
Or at least the last time that Kojima like made a big deal about it was fucking Metal Gear Rising.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's neat. Hopefully the game's good. I looked at Death Stranding and I'm like, I'm not interested in this game at all.
It's so neat. I just wish I knew more about it.
I'm like, it is not a game that I want to sit in front of my PC and play necessarily. But once I have a Steam Deck, like that is at the top of my list of games that I'm putting on there, because it seems like the perfect game to just be able to pull out and play for a little bit.
And we're gonna move on. Aroa, what games did you want to talk about? It looks like the first game is Scorn.
Yeah, mainly because I didn't really have a whole lot that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But Scorn looks pretty cool. I don't actually even know. This is not the same game. So there's another game very much like in this vein that came out a few years ago, that was trying to be like, you're in hell and there's a lot of like sexuality and body horror shit in this game, and then it turned out the game was garbage. Whereas this seems like it's going to be like a horror shooter, which is probably going to be a lot cooler. And I am a huge fan of body horror in general. So this is like really appealing to me. It's going to be coming out. What's that?
I'm going to say at the beginning of this trailer, just to give the listeners a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about, is that you're sitting there and you look down and you have an umbilical cord and you pull off the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
So that's the beginning of the trailer.
There's like there's like some kind of weird thing that looks like it might be like a thing that would carry you across the room, but it's like a pod with a bunch of arms coming out of it. Like all the art in this game looks like it was done by H.R. Giger, which is great because I fucking love that man. Like it all looks like you remember Darkseid? I think was the game.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that game.
Like this is finally a proper follow-up to the concept of Darkseid, of having an H.R. Giger world that you can walk around in. But the fact that it's also a shooter, even if it kind of reminds me of Doom 3 in that way, still looks pretty fucking cool. So
we've also got Wo Long Fallen Dynasty.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of struggling to find something to talk about. There's hardly any gameplay, if there is any. I don't even know if there is any. I'm scrolling through here. I
I
don't really
don't
see
think
much of
there's
anything.
any actual gameplay.
Yeah, no, but it looks
It's
like
made
it
by
might be.
it's
Oh
made by
yeah, it's
Team
made by
Ninja,
Team
yeah.
Ninja, so it looks like it might be kind of Ninja Gaiden-y. Because it looks. I was talking before the podcast. I can't really tell if what this is supposed to be. If it's going to be like Neo or something, but it looks too actiony to be Neo. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that it's going to be like Ninja Gaiden, but like maybe I don't know, more grounded than
Yeah.
that. Or maybe it'll be like a Dynasty Warriors kind of thing because they have been working with Koei. Is it
Koei Tecmo?
Koei? I don't remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember who makes Dynasty Warriors.
I don't
They
know
haven't made a
either.
good one in a long time. So, and I don't know what the last thing was that I told you to
That was it.
pick.
That was it.
Okay. So I was going through and trying to see if there was anything else, and then I noticed that Squanch Games had a new game on
Uh-huh.
here. It looks fucking good. It looks like it looks kind of like Doom, but it's from the Rick and Morty guy,
Oh,
which is
yeah,
really cool.
I fucking saw that and I was like, I don't care.
Really?
I don't like Rick and Morty.
Okay, so that's fair, and like I could get not enjoying the comedy.
Yeah.
You need to have a high IQ to really get the comedy in that show.
Yeah.
I'll admit, like it definitely has fallen off in terms of how much I enjoy Rick and Morty. I haven't watched any of the most recent season, but Squanch Games has made pretty good shit as of
I
late.
like Trover.
It is
Trover was good.
called
I played was it Accounting? I
High
think?
on Life.
Yeah, High
That's
on
the name of
Life.
the game.
Yeah, High on Life looks pretty fun. It's like an action, very high action first person shooter, and it's got a lot of wacky looking mechanics and really interesting original character designs and shit. So
Yeah.
I just think it's cool.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on. And Connor, you want to talk about Diablo 4?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's see if we
Jesus.
can't make up some time here. So, Blizzard has effectively decided that they want everyone to forget Diablo Eternal, and they're just not going to acknowledge it.
Immortal.
Yeah, whatever
Who
it is.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's effectively how much you should know about it.
Yeah.
Don't you have a phone?
Don't you have a phone?
Meh.
Don't you
It
have
is
18?
going-
You don't even need it. Play it on your play the port on your PC where it says tap to start.
Don't you have $100,000 to fully upgrade your character? And what is one of the worst blatant cash grabs I've ever seen? Yeah, they're doing more of that in Diablo 4. They know that they made some mistakes in Diablo 3 with not having everyone's favorite classes. So they're like, okay, we listened. We're gonna give you your favorite classes. It also looks
Necromancer
like
and
it-
Barbarian.
It's and Druid, and it's going to once again be a always online style game, and it's going to have an in-game marketplace. And man, I think I could just give this one a wide pass.
Well,
Oh no!
here's the thing. I know I'm gonna have at least a couple of friends who are gonna play Diablo 4. Because Diablo games are very popular, even though I'm not a huge fan of them. And it's going to be on Game Pass. So I'll probably download it to play with my friends. That's
And then the other game that I want to talk about is called Pentiment, which I think is probably one of the most original takes on the storyboard, like the storybook kind of game. In that it's like, you know how monks, when they would like copy Bibles letter by letter, would doodle in the margins like to keep themselves from going insane?
Yeah.
What if they made a game like that? And I'm all for it.
Wait
That's what
a
the
minute. What is this? Pentiment?
Pentiment. Yeah, I saw this, and you're all for it. And
I'm like even excited for it. It looks this is an original idea in a way that I wish somebody would have thought about like 10 to 15 years ago.
So
you mean like Comic Zone?
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Now that game is
like
good
medieval.
though.
Yeah, Comic Zone's great, homie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pentiment, I look at it. It is as Connor described. It looks like it's it's a storyboard or somebody drew very rudimentary drawings. And then there's like there's a narrative to it, and I think it seems like you're trying to figure stuff out and go through the game with
Evil
that
high
narrative.
fantasy, whatever. We'll find out more when we
I
have more details. We don't have a lot of details, but the art style, I love it. I love it.
I look at it and I hate it. I hate
it's
the art
cute.
style. Absolutely hate it. But that's okay.
There have been a number of games that have kind of had that medieval art
Yeah.
style, but
Yeah.
Not to this level.
no, not quite to the like same degree of quality, I guess I would say. Because most of those games, they're like was it Star Mancer, something like that. You're just like a fortune teller.
Now
Like
I might
that was one of the big ones I saw.
Now that being said, with this art style and stuff, I still might play this game because of a couple reasons. One,
Because it's on Game Pass. Everything
Game
you're talking
Pass,
about,
yes, we know.
we get it, Nathan. We get it.
but do you know the second reason?
Because your friends are gonna play it and you want to. I don't know. The
'Cause
same
it's
thing you said
You
about all
like
the other.
poop.
No. It's made by Obsidian.
Yeah. It's made by Obsidian. They famously make great games.
Yeah, they
Great
make really good
story-based
games.
Other than Grounded.
Well,
Was Grounded Obsidian?
Yes.
yeah. Well,
Aw,
we've
Obsidian.
got to play it. We got to play Grounded. We played the play test, and now we got to play the full game when it comes out.
It is coming out soon.
But do we know when Pentiment comes out? Does that have a release date?
I already closed the tab, so if it did, I didn't see it.
November
let me reopen that real
2022.
quick. There it is. You got it.
I figured it out. So the games I wanted to talk about from the... Oh, wait, no, wait.
Didn't you already talk?
Well, I already talked. Yeah. So we're done.
Oh,
So-
thank God. My room is so hot right now.
It has been raining here all day. I was going to mow the
Oh,
lawn this
God.
weekend, and it's just been raining all weekend.
Oh, I wish it would rain right now in my face. I just opened my door because I don't care anymore. It's so hot.
Connor can make it happen. Connor
Ma-
can
ma-
make it
no.
rain in your face.
I don't have that kind of money, man.
Oh. But yeah, we're done.
I will throw my pocket change at you.
We have
It is now
spoken.
hailing.
We've spoken about all the stories.
Oh, I
and-
thought he was
wait,
talking about pissing on me.
I have one more thing I want to bring up. It's just stupid. Flight Simulator is getting the Pelican from
Halo.
and you wanted to say that you don't like first-person shooters.
No, I wanted to tell you that. Like,
Oh, specifically.
I in general am so burned out by first person shooters that the reason we were talking about that is because Dark Tide does look exciting in that it's also a hack and slasher and not just a shooter. Also, Psyker stuff in Warhammer World. So I'm gonna check that one out. But in general, shooters are. I haven't seen anything like intuitive or like exciting about a shooter since
Metal
I don't
Hellsinger.
know, Dishonored 2.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for being here, Aroa.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being here, O'Connor.
Man, there was this super cool story about like a Google developer talking about an AI gaining sentience, and we just don't have the time to talk about it.
I'm sorry. And we'll be
It's
back.
fine.
We'll be back next week. There's more showcases this upcoming week to talk about, so that'll be fun. Goodbye.
Oh, my voice.